So, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. Before we formally begin, we would like to acknowledge the presence of some of our TESTA board members. BM Ramon R. De Leon from Labor Sector Representative. Dr. Vivian Cosay, Employer Sector Representative. Muli magandang umaga po sa inyo. We also would like to welcome as well the presence of our Acting Executive Director of Qualifications and Standards Office, Director Elcid H. Castillo. We also would like to thank and appreciate the presence of some of our colleagues here in the Certification Office headed by the Executive Director, Director Maria Susan de la Rama. Of course, we would like to acknowledge the presence of all regional and provincial directors, administrators, and representatives from various caregiving institutions and assessment centers. We also would like to thank for making this forum possible from the front runners on the standards development of caregiving NC2TR. From QSO, Mr. Edwin Maglalang, Ms. Fortunata Baco, and Ms. Barbara Jane Reyes, and to all QSO technical staff, and of course to all the participants for this activity. Muli magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the virtual public forum for Caregiving NC2 via virtual platform today, 28th of February 2023. I'm Jacqueline Magsalin and I'll be your host for this activity. Before we officially start, allow me to give you the summary of the forum program. The singing of the Philippine National Anthem, followed by invocation, acknowledgement of participants, welcome remarks, followed by the presentation of Caregiving NC2TRs, and forum proper, and this will be concluded to closing remarks. Now, in our respective places, may I request everyone to the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, followed by our opening prayer.
Sumasalangit ka, sambahin ang ngalan mo, mapasa amin ang kaharian mo, sundin ang loob mo, dito sa lupa para ng sa langit. Bigyan mo po kami ngayon ng aming kakanin sa araw-araw at patawarin mo kami sa aming mga sala para ng pagpapatawad namin sa nagkakasala sa amin, at huwag mo kaming ipahintulot sa tukso, at yadya mo kami sa lahat ng masama, sapagkat sa'yo ang
So at this point, we would like to inform everyone that we have, due to the limited capacity of our platform today, we'll be providing a YouTube link wherein you can, or if you know someone who would like to participate in this activity, they can join us through YouTube Live. So please do inform them of this. We have our live stream link already here posted in our chat box. Maraming salamat po. So at this juncture, to introduce our attendees for this activity, may I give the floor to the Senior TSD Specialist of Competency Standards Development Division of QSO, Ms. Barbara Jane Reyes.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Again, we would like to thank po for everyone in giving their time to join us for today's public forum. Okay, so we have here, we have a very different groups na na-invite for today para ma-ensure lang po natin that we gather all the recommendations that are from different parts ng mga stakeholders po natin and the practitioners din po. So, we would like to, of course, recognize the presence ng ating mga from regional focals and the provincial focals. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the support sa Qualifications and Standards Office.
So thank you very much, Ma'am Harvey, for acknowledging our participants. Again, our utmost thanks for giving your time through participating in this activity. And also, it is a pleasure to introduce our new acting executive director of Qualifications and Standards Office. Probably most of you knew him as he was a former provincial director for more than 8 years, serving regions 6, 10, 11, and 12. It is a privilege to continually serve the agency through his first assignment in the central office as at the Qualifications and Standards Office. On a final note, he is also a fascinating and passionate to new learnings with his new assignment, and we are all grateful for his presence among us today. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the Acting Executive Director of QSO, Director Elcid H. Castillo.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po. Welcome to our public forum on our caregiving program. Today, we are very fortunate that we are joined by some of our board members from the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, from our executive offices, and of course, from our regions and the provincial offices, as well as our partners and stakeholders, our providers of the caregiving program all over the country, and also by our assessment centers. It is really our privilege to be doing the public forum today because we hope that this will provide another venue for us to look at the new phase of our caregiving program. We all know that the caregiving program has been established many, many years already, and a lot of our workers, of our overseas Filipino workers and even local workers are into this particular qualification. We hope that through this public forum, we will be able to share with you the information that you need to know about the caregiving program of TESDA. We hope also to hear your comments, your suggestions, your recommendations on how we can further look into this program, and perhaps in the future go into policy formulation as to the nature of the caregiving program. So today we are joined by our focal persons from the Qualifications and Standards Office. And as Jackie has mentioned, this is my first assignment in the central office. I know a lot of our fellows coming from the different regions, and I know that you are wanting to know, that you want to know answers to your questions. But please take note, ladies and gentlemen, that this public forum aims to hear your concerns, your recommendations, and your questions perhaps, but we are not working on an agreement level. So whatever recommendations, whatever concerns that we will gather from all of you through this public forum, we will summarize and we will submit to our higher ups, to our and to the TESDA board, perhaps for future policy formulation. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this public forum. Our dear board members of our TESDA, our fellow officials and staff of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority all over the region, mula po Region 1 hanggang BARM. And of course, ang ating mga kasamahan po sa ating mga sektor, pribado at pampubliko po, offering caregiving program as well as our assessment centers. I would like, of course, to say, because before coming to the central office, our colleagues in Region 12 said, "Oh, sir, whenever you have the opportunity, give a shout out for us." So shout out to all people coming from Region 12. And to my former provinces, I should say, Sarangani, Cotabato Province, Misamis Occidental, Bukidnon, Lanao del Norte, Antique, and Davao Oriental. I always remember you all. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, fellow TESDANs, magandang umaga po. Welcome to our public forum. God bless us all. Padayon ta.
Maraming salamat po, Director Elcide, for giving us an overview on what we will expect for our participants. So what we will expect for this forum and also probably the way forward after this. So again, and then at this point po, to give us an overview for the caregiving and C2TRs, followed by the forum proper, may we call on the Senior TSC Specialist of Competency Standards Development Division of QSO, Mr. Edwin Maglala.
Thank you, Ms. Jack. Next slide. Next slide. Now, the caregiving NC2 background and timeline of the training regulation NC2. The first training regulations that was developed and formulated in TESDA in 2007. The training course was designed and pioneered by SciSys Canada in cooperation with the National Manpower and Youth Council, now TESDA. So if you've noticed po yung caregiving, yung old na training regulations natin for caregiving, may mga elective competencies on household. Kasi yun ay nakadesign before sa live-in caregiver, yung mga caregivers bound for Canada. So yung SciSys Canada was, the training course was designed nga pala and pioneered by SciSys Canada in cooperation with the NMIC, yung National Manpower and Youth Council before. So yung SciSys Canada was founded as a result of the growing need for the services determined and established by 3 Albertans. It was formally founded on March 23. Noong April 27, 1992, the Foreign Domestic Program in Canada, yung immigration program whereby overseas caregivers can work temporarily in Canada, was replaced by the Live-in Caregiver Program, or LCP. The LCP was designed to bring workers to Canada with strict qualifications. Next slide, please. So ito po yung timeline. So if you've noticed, 2007 pa po yung TR natin sa caregiving. So kung makikita niyo po yung timeline natin, noong May 2008, ito yung inisyu na yung moratorium on the registration of Caregiving NC2 program kasi nagkaroon ho ng anong tawag dito? May mga naging problema noon kaya nagkaroon ng moratorium on that. So inisyu yung TESDA Circular number 13 series of 2008. Then on January 2017, nilift po yung moratorium on the registration of the Caregiving NC2 program. So inisyu naman yung TESDA Circular number 01 series of 2017. And then on 2019 hanggang 2020, ni-review po yung training regulations natin sa caregiving. So kasama ho yan yung competency assessment tools. So this in coordination with yung sa mga stakeholders natin. So yung kanho dito kasi in the re-emergence din ng demand ng caregiving services natin. So after 12 years from its promulgation, nire-review nga po yung ating training regulation dahil nga rin po sa katagalan. And then on June 2020, so nagkaroon na ho ng promulgation ng 4 na caregiving natin for specialization. No? The capability building program also followed noong November 2021. So in cooperation with the certification office, nag-conduct ng capability building program for RLAs throughout noong November of 2021, which then commences with the migration period. So in those nag-issue ng TESDA order number 789 series of 2021. Yung nga promulgation din ng ating training regulation, nakapaloob ho siya doon sa TESDA Circular number 67 series of 2020. Then on December 2022, pero bago ho nga pala yan, on June 2022, through memo number 340 series of 2022, the certification office issued an extension of the migration of the program up to the end of December 2022. So makikita nyo dyan na karoon ng deadline for the migration of any of the 4 caregiving NC2 natin na training regulation. Ngayon, February 28, 2023, we're now conducting yung public forum nga natin said by AED SID na we are going to solicit information and consign para doon sa policy directions for the caregiving program. So if you've noticed, yung last 2 boxes dyan would cover yung regarding po doon sa panahon ng 4 new caregiving NC2 program. So ayan po yung timeline. Next slide, please. So what are the reasons in reviewing the training regulations for caregiving? So we have 5. The Labor Market Intelligence Report for Filipino Health Workers, which was issue number 3 series of 2018. Then rapid changes in healthcare technology and service delivery in other countries. Yung Labor Market Intelligence Report nga pala for Filipino health workers acknowledges the increasing worldwide demand for caregivers. Yung rapid advances in healthcare technology and service delivery in other countries necessitate the need to retool the competencies for our local caregivers. Next, lifestyle changes and increasing consumer disposable income influence the evolution of healthcare delivery towards more specific market niches. And then in the need for review after 12 years from its promulgation. So there is really a need to review this because sabi nga natin sa katagalan, kailangan din suportahan yung demands and requirements of the industry. And then lastly, this is to align with the researches and benchmark matrix done with the technical experts. Next slide po. So ito po, I'll just to, hindi ko na ho i-discuss in details to, pero nag-benchmark ho kami nung i-present namin ho ito sa board for its promulgation. So on this slide, talks about the preparation for the promulgation of the 4 caregiving and C2 TRs in 2020. As I've said, yung research and benchmarking was done by our technical experts and QSO with insights from the late TESDA board member Antonio Asper. On your screen, on the screen is the comparative matrix of the superseded training regulation and the new 4 TRs. Further details will be presented ngayon po. Next slide po. So Philippines po yung nauna. Next slide. Na-benchmark din ho ito with Europe and Africa for child care, elderly care, and client with cerebral palsy were researched. Slide 7. Ito naman ho yung sa Asia Pacific region. So yung countries includes Fiji, Singapore, Taiwan, and from UNESCO. To add here, on September 13, 2022, yung QD Corporation and Mediva, led by Mr. Katsuya Suzuki from Japan, met with TESDA to conduct a survey. Their introduction and first question during the meeting was, we recognize that the current caregiving course is not specific to elder care and does not answer the needs of many aging foreign countries, including Japan. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Mamaya tignan natin yon, yung area na yun. No? Do you have any ideas or plans on updating existing courses or developing new ones? Good thing the TESDA have already promulgated a TR that caters to the need, hence better opportunities and ways forward of possible career paths for our caregivers were among the topics discussed. It was indeed a very positive and hopeful meeting. Next slide, please. Yung susunod na benchmark naman ho ito with the United States of America. And then slide 9, next slide po. Sa Canada naman po ito. Next slide, please. Yung susunod na benchmarking namin with the technical experts is with Australia at saka Middle East naman. So rest assured na yung 4 na training regulations natin ay talagang masinsin po yung benchmarking with other countries. Next slide, please. So ito naman ho yung mga TESDA board resolutions for the 4 newly promulgated training regulations. So the TESDA board resolutions 2020-19 hanggang sa 2020-2022 refers to the approving and promulgating the training regulations for the new 4 caregiving and C2, whereas clause says the existing training regulations shall be replaced with 4 different training regulations based on the age group of the clientele. Next slide. Ito ho yung summary ng utilization natin ng mga training regulations for caregiving and C2. This data we got from the certification office. So yung assessment and certification data in Caregiving NC2 na nakuha namin data is as of January 31, 2023. So naka-flash on the screen kung ilan yung number of accredited assessment centers natin. Yung as of January 31, 2023 nga, yung number of accredited competency assessors, number of NTTC holders, yung number of persons assessed, numbers of persons certified, at saka yung overall certification rate na 94.8%. Next slide. Ito, hindi ho kami nakakuha ng updated, pero basically tumaas na po yung enrollees natin dito nung 2019 hanggang nung sa I do not really siguro na tumaas na rin po dahil dun sa natin dahil may online program tayo dito. Hindi na lang ho ito kasi nung present namin sa board ito nung nag-start ang pandemic. Ito ho yung nakuha namin na data on the enrollees and graduates ng caregiving natin. Next. Ito ho yung summary ng utilization of TRs ng caregiving naman para sa ngayon. So if you have noticed, yung old na caregiving NC2 natin, from NCR hanggang sa overseas, magkaroon nga rin ho ng isang registration ng program ho, overseas ng isa. We have 341 pending yung what would be the outcome ng forum natin na to. Pero if you have noticed din, may mga nag-register na rin ho ng program nila for elderly, dun sa newborn to preschooler. Pero we have none for the grade schooler to adolescent at saka yung sa clients with special needs. So yun po. Next slide. Ito na ho yung training regulations natin as compared. You will notice on your screen, merong matrix on the old caregiving natin na training regulations as against dun sa 4 newly promulgated. So when it comes to the basic competencies, siyempre nadagdagan yan because of the 21st century skills. So yun po yung significant na panho dito sa slide na to. Next slide. Pagdating naman sa common, wala hong amendment. So carried pa rin yung kasi pandemic na ngayon. So nandyan pa rin yung implementation ng infection control policies. Saka yung tatlo. Iba yung first aid, yung pag-respond sa mga behaviors ng ating clientele, and then yung pag-maintain ng high standard of patient client services. Next. Ngayon, dito sa core competencies, malaki na ho yung pagbabago because of the specialization that we have now. Doon sa old na caregiving training regulation natin, naka-package siya into one training regulation. Wherein I would suppose, and in consultation din sa mga technical experts natin, it's really not enough yung mga competencies that were stated doon sa old natin. Kaya nagkaroon ng specialization ngayon in support din doon sa na benchmark na there are really countries who really require na yung care for the elderly kung elderly lang, and then yung sa mga clients with special needs. So kaya kung makikita nyo ho ngayon from your right regarding sa newborn, dun sa grade schooler and elderly at saka clients with special needs, dahil specialized na yan, dumami ngayon yung core competencies for that specific caregiving training program. Next. Yan, kasama ho yan, yung karugtong nung kanina. Next slide, yan. When it comes to the training duration, nung dun sa old, you have only 788 hours. Now, dito sa for newly promulgated training regulation, you have separate nominal training durations. Hindi ho ina-add ho ito. This is treated as separate programs for each caregiving training regulation. So they would really vary from the newborn to preschooler hanggang dun sa clients with special needs. So specifically, sa preschooler, you have a total of 465 hours. Then meron siyang SIL or yung on-the-job training na 160 hours. For grade schooler at saka adolescent, you have 389 hours. In this nga pala, training regulations, may mga certificate of competencies doon sa loob ho nito which will be discussed later, no? Kaya ganyan ho kalaki yung core competencies. Kasi doon naman sa basic at saka common, it's naka-standardized na sa 37 hours yung basic and then you have 112 hours for the common all throughout hanggang doon sa pinakalas na training regulation natin for clients with special needs. Nagwa-vary lang ho yung number hours doon sa core competencies because they differ for each of these training regulations that were promulgated. So you have 316 hours for the core competencies ng preschooler. You have for the grade schooler and adolescent, nasa 240 hours siya. For the elderly, you have 252 hours. And then sa clients with special needs naman, you have 504. So yun po. Yung flat rate po yung pagdating doon sa SIL or yung supervised industry learning, 160 hours po yan. Next slide po. Sa trainee entry requirements, you have 4 doon sa old. Yung can communicate both in oral and written, yung physically and mentally fit, with good moral character, tapos can perform basic mathematical computation. Doon sa bago natin, you have only 2. So completed at least 10 years of basic education or holder of alternative learning system certificate of completion with grade 10 equivalent at saka yung basic communication skills. This will cover both already yung oral at saka yung written. Next. Sa training facilities, what you have now on your screen is yung sa sa old na training regulation. Ang total workshop area is 180 square meters. Naka-disaggregate yung space requirement dito sa mga nandyan, yung sa demonstration office mo, saka yung sa academic room. Next. Pagdating dun sa bago, since na-specialize na siya, this would now vary. At saka mas specific na ho yung requirements mo for your facility. So there would be an area for your office area, yung training resource area, practical work areas, contextual learning area, learning resource area, computer laboratory, circulation area, career counseling area, clinic, lactating room for dun sa newborn, sa preschooler. Then you have yung comfort room. And then may separate rooms then for female and male ho. Next. Next slide. Pagdating sa trainer qualification, yung old natin na training regulation may 4. Tapos yung isa pa dyan ay optional only when required by the hiring institution. Ang reference natin dito is yung TESDA Board Resolution 2004 to 2003. If I may read, it must be a holder of NC3 na certificate which we do not have one. Kaya nga kinuan nga natin ho ito, ni-review rin. And then must have undergone training on TM2. And, tinignan din natin yung isa, yung must be physically and mentally fit. Pero pagdating ho dito sa apat na specialized area, may apat pa rin. Yung must be a holder na ho ng NTTC Level 1 in Caregiving kung saan siya mag-i-specialize. So NTTC Certificate 1 ang kailangan mong taglayin. Dito sa preschooler hanggang doon sa clients with special needs. Kaya lang, kailangan na mag-specialize sila doon specific na caregiving training regulation mo. Then, nandyan din ho yung must be a graduate of any allied health courses or bachelor's degree, must possess good communication skills, and must have at least 2 years industry experience within the last 5 years. Next slide po. So, how to attain the qualification? This is regarding na ho sa assessment and certification arrangements. This is part of our training regulation. So, the qualification may be attained through demonstration of competence through project type assessment covering all the required units of qualification. Number 2, accumulation of certificates of competency. Now, for the new training regulations, I've said kanina, may mga COCs within each, except for elderly. So, yung sa old natin, may dalawa. Yung sa preschooler, we have 4. For grade schooler, we have 2. And then for the caregiving with clients with special needs, we have 2 also. Next slide. So who are qualified to take the assessment and certification? So any of the following are qualified to undergo assessment and certification. So payak na payak ho yung pagkaka-state ng qualification for those who will be able to take the assessment and certification do sa old natin. Pero dito sa mga bago nating training regulation, naka-specify na ho yung especially for the experienced workers. May naka-specify na number of years na kailangan nilang i-comply para makapag-qualify ho sa assessment and certification. So it would vary depending on what caregiving training regulation one would like to take. Okay, next. Is recognition of prior learning or current competencies through portfolio assessment allowed? Yes. Doon sa old nating caregiving, it was not specified. Pero for the new training regulations that we have, naka-specify ho doon sa kung ano po yung kailangan nilang i-comply. So yun po. Next. So what will happen to NC and or COC holders in caregiving services NC2? So as of now, status ko lahat ho yan. Kung ano ho yung ipinapatupad na guidelines regarding dyan would still be in effect hanggat hindi pa ho na ipapalabas yung bago nating pangaho. Test the board resolution for this. Kasi itong forum na ginaganap po ngayon sa our director said, dito ho kami we gather all the information, suggestions that we will be telling us mamaya for possible policy formulation po. Next. So what are the qualifications of our accredited assessors? For our newly promulgated training regulation, we have 3. So practitioner of the occupation trade in the trade area for at least 2 years. Candidates without required industry work experience shall be granted the provisional accreditation subject to guidelines promulgated with the test award for the purpose. Holder of a national certificate at the same or higher level of the qualification where the assessor is accredited. Holder of NTTC1 and or COC2 conduct assessment under TM1. Ito naman ho yung facilities for the assessment. Pero below our minimum requirements lang naman po. So, yan po. So, for every meron hong nakaspecify na requirement. Next. So, regarding sa assessment fee, doon sa old training regulation natin, ang assessment fee ho ay 500 pesos NEDA rate po yan. Doon sa mga bago, magwa-vary ho siya. Depende kung ano yung kukunin ng isang tao na magpapa-assess. So, nakapan ho yan. Next. Thank you po and good morning po.
Okay, so muli maraming salamat po, Sir Edwin. All right. So again, thank you very much, Sir Edwin, for that giving us an overview. And what are how can you distinguish the old TR and then the new TR po ng Caregiving NC2? You may scan the copies of these TRs through of this presentation po through what is flashed on your screen is the QR code. Ayan. And also it has, if you can't access it through the QR code, you may access it through bit.ly. There it is, http:/bit.ly/3mael All right, so here we are. We will now move forward to the forum proper. Again, we would like to give some reminders to our participants for the open forum here, for the forum proper itself. First, we will recognize when you raise your hand. Yan, all right. So we have participant here already raised his hand, and then that's where we will acknowledge you. But first, you need to introduce from what organization or region you are in and what organization you're affiliated with and your full name. All right. And for those who would like to utilize a chat box, please do. You may chat us your comments or inquiries perhaps. We also have here from the certification office who can also, if that would be related on some of your concerns may be related or may be answered through our colleagues from certification office. All right, so here we go. So we will start now. Sir Edwin will be the moderator. Okay, so here we go. I'll give back the floor to Sir Edwin Maglalang.
Okay. Larry Dison from Region 1. Director Dison, you're recognized po.
Thank you, Sir Edwin. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga executive directors and regional directors as well as the provincial directors and administrators. Tanong ko po sana sir, kasi may existing implementing guidelines po tayo para sa migration. And
My apologies po, Director Larry, no? Medyo choppy po ata yung dating po nila. Opo.
Sorry, ma'am.
Ayan. Okay po. So maybe a clearer connection po ata.
Am I already, can I be heard already, ma'am?
Medyo ano po parang ang layo po nila sa mic, tas medyo choppy po. Probably baka po sa internet connection po nila, sir.
Can I already be heard, ma'am?
Ayan, better. Alright. Okay, sige po, continue po tayo.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Sir Edwin, for recognizing me. Ang tanong ko kasi may implemented guidelines po tayo for the migration. And sa program registration natin,
Sabi. Yan.
insurance of
Sorry po, Sir Edwin.
Hindi ko
Sir,
kayo maintindihan
Sir Larry.
po, Sir Larry.
hindi po baka po pwede pakichat na lang po just in case. We cannot really hear you clearly. Yung question po nila.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Okay, so while waiting, so as we move forward, so I think that Sir Larry is still, inaayos po siguro yung kanilang connection po doon since na medyo nagkaroon tayo ng difficulty okay, so we will now proceed with, okay, so we will flash now on your screen, we will now flash on our screen yung guide questions po natin as we go through this forum proper. So, okay, so we'll be requesting, ayan, ang ating mga kasama. Sige, so we will recognize po, yan, isa-isa po. But I hope that this inquiry or perhaps their inputs will be related to the questions flashed on their screen. And also, we would like to remind our participants that we'll be given a time allotment for us to accommodate as much as possible everyone po with their inputs po regarding dun sa mga questions that will be facilitated by our moderator. So, ayan, ready na po ang ating ready.
Miss Jack.
Yes po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jack. So in addition po dun sa sinabi ni Miss Jack, to be able to manage po yung ating open forum, we know na all of you have your concerns na gustong i-raise. Kaya po, meron kayong makikita sa chat box. So we prepared a Q&A form. On that Q&A form, makikita nyo rin po yung guide questions na ipa-flash namin all throughout the open forum. Pero there's a space naman po sa end nun na you can input in case po yung inyong concern hindi nasama doon sa mga questions po namin. Pero we would like to seek your understanding na para lang po may direction yung ating open forum and mas maayos po. And we hope you also understand that we cannot accommodate all concerns po na maire-raise given our time lang po for today. We hope that this Q&A form will be your venue para po ma-voice out nyo po lahat ng mga concerns ninyo. So same with the live chat natin sa YouTube, na-share na rin po namin dun yung link. So yun po. So to manage po per questions, we will limit po yung oras. So pasensya na po dun sa mga hindi po ma-recognize, pero you can put naman po yung questions nyo doon sa ating Q&A form. So okay, so we'll proceed na po. And as the moderator for this open forum, we'll pass on the stage to Sir Edwin Maglalang po. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, before we recognize yung ninyo. Kindly please state your name at saka yung group that you are representing para ma-document po yung information or suggestions and comments that you will be telling us. Okay. Okay, we're now going to flash yung unang question. So, what is the demand in the local job markets for graduates and certified workers? Next, what about the global market demand ng ating mga caregivers? So, we'd like to recognize yung taga Region 11. May we call on the representative ng ating Region 11 SPMS, Attorney Leo.
Hello,
Yan.
good morning.
Kanina nakamute. Okay. Okay.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
Sir, okay lang ba? May tanong ako, sir.
Before di tatanong po, can we answer first itong question that is posted on our screen?
Okay. I will just be answering based on our school, sir, no? So far, dito po sa sa local, ang usually kasi sa amin is ang caregiving is ang demand is nasa abroad. So normally our students are second coursers, no? Nurses or other four-year graduate four-year graduate na mga estudyante who want to go abroad, no? So normally yun po ang napakaraming demand sa eskwelahan namin. But with respect to the local, they are already employed. Most of our students are already employed locally. So that is why I'd like to raise a question sana dito, sir, sa kasi kaya ako nag-join nitong forum because I have a very important question sana with respect to our school's operation.
Sige po, sir.
If you will allow us, no?
Yes.
Okay, ganito, sir. Actually, our school has been operating caregiving since 2007. Our certificate of registration was issued June 19 of 2007, and we've been operating it until such time that we were informed na wag munang magtanggap ng estudyante because there's a plan for migrating the curriculum, na ito yung sinasabi niyo na migration, no? So we also applied for the migration, no, ng program. However, we stopped accepting students mga siguro middle of the year 2022, primarily because we're waiting for the issuance ng bagong curriculum ng caregiving. Kaya lang, sir, napakarami pong mga estudyante na pumunta sa amin at gustong magpatuloy, no, ng caregiving because we have a lot of opportunities abroad, no, especially sa caregiving na ito. At marami na kaming na-reject, no, kasi nga hindi pa nga kami allowed na magtanggap ng estudyante. So ang tanong ko, sir, kasi itong migration sa curriculum ng caregiving, maraming mga changes, no, at maraming dapat baguhin, especially sa mga physical layout ng training yung training center, no? And hindi ba dapat with respect to the old curriculum, dapat meron tayong shifting ba na para sa smooth transition, sir, na especially ng mga graduates, ng mga estudyante, kasi pag biglaan lang kasi stop and then ipasok itong bagong migration ng curriculum, mawalan po ng opportunities itong mga estudyante kasi normally po ang sinasabi sa akin ng mga estudyante is that limited lang yung time nila to answer dito sa mga job opportunities, no, especially abroad. Kasi like for example, ngayon maraming in demand, maraming nag-aano sa kanila na they will be working abroad as caregivers. Ngayon, they cannot comply with the requirement na magbigay ng certificate sa kanila because they haven't hindi sila nakapag-school kasi nga tinigil namin yung offering ng caregiving until such time that the curriculum is migrated. So ang ano ko lang sa sa TESDA, if it's possible, kasi personally ako hindi ako against sa migration ng curriculum, no, because it's okay and it seems talaga fit din siguro na i-change. However, dapat meron tayong transition period siguro na like bigyan nyo kami ng 1 year to operate under the old curriculum as while we are preparing for the transition ng program namin to the new curriculum. And in the meantime, our students will be given the opportunity to get this course. Kasi sir, sayang din naman kasi mawalan sila ng trabaho sa abroad kasi yung mga employers, they cannot wait. So yun lang po sir, actually tinanong. Actually tinawag ko to sa Maynila, no, kasi I was asking bakit matagal, no. So I called up the quality standards something, no, na office and ask kung pwede bang yung sa old na muna tayo ng curriculum, and then if nandyan na po yung bagong curriculum, then that's the time siguro na i-migrate yung mga estudyante. But in the meantime, since wala pa naman, imagine mo sir yung period na hindi ka nakapagtanggap ng estudyante up to now, kung anong lost opportunity on the part of the students na could have been, mga possible OFW yun na makapag-contribute sa atin sa economy ng Pilipinas. And so far kasi, since we operated since 2007 up to 2022, wala naman kaming problemang na-receive sa mga estudyante namin na incompetent yung mga estudyante namin, no, na nakapagtrabaho abroad. And so far, they've been working well at yung mga opportunities nila sa abroad. At wala din kaming feedback na sinasabi na, uy, pangit yung curriculum na binigay ng TESDA dun sa old curriculum at kailangan ng i-change. We haven't received any feedback from our graduates, no? And that is why, while I believe na there's a need for the migration of the curriculum, but at least you have to give us, no, training schools the time within which to comply the requirements of this new curriculum. But in the meantime, you have to allow us.
Okay.
To
Attorney.
Sige po.
Attorney. I think, Sir Edwin. Attorney, thank you for pointing that out. Ganito po. Thank you for answering that there is a demand for overseas market and for the local. And as to your question, Attorney, on the program registration, we can refer you to our certification office because that is the office in charge of program registration and for conduct of for the assessment and certification. However, I would just like to point out, sir, that when we talk of the new training regulations, it's the new registration under the new specialized programs. Yun po ang ginagawa natin, including dun po pa sa elderly, sa toddler, and then sa special needs and for infant. So all of these 4 are new programs. And then yung old program po, yung sinasabi po ninyo that started in 2007, I know that may nangyari pong confusion sa lahat po nung mga nakaraang taon, but the certification office can shed light on this as well para po mabigyan po natin ng tamang kasagutan yung mga questions niyo. But your observations are very valid and we have taken note of everything. Ang secretariat po natin are taking note of your observations and of your concerns. There is a segue ko na lang din po because I'm also reading the chat box. There's one comment coming from Cebu that there is a big demand, huge demand for local employment in caregiving programs. So, Secretariat, pakitingnan na lang din po. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Next.
Okay.
To be recognized is Miss Rose Marian. Nakamute ho ata kayo.
Yes po, sir. Good morning po. Thank you po. I'm Rosemary Ansolina po from PCA, Philippine Caregivers Association, Alliance of Health Workers. Currently po ako na nagtatrabaho sa hospital, pero nagtatrabaho rin po ako, sir, as a caregiver for 9 years. Until now po, nagpa-practice pa rin po ako as a caregiver. Ang concern lang po namin, sir, sa mga old curriculum, kasi marami na po sa mga kasamahan namin ngayon na nagre-renew ng kanilang license, ng certificates na NC2. Pero kadalasan po sinasabi, kailangan na nilang nag-ano ng bagong curriculum. Pero based po sa nakita natin na presentation, pwede pa po kami mag-renew. Why is it po ang halos lahat ng mga centers po natin na TESDA, hindi na nagpapa-renew sa mga old NC2 holders. Kasi ang sinasabi na nila, dapat na po kami mag-migrate sa 4 na curriculum na bago. Pero di ba ang sabi po, hindi pa naman siya ngayon na ano talaga, na naka-align talaga. Pero bakit ngayon, bakit hindi na po kami makakapag-renew? Yun lang po ang questions namin po, sir, na mga old mga old NC2 holders at mga practitioners presently po, sir. Kasi wala na po, marami na po sa amin since last year pa po. Yung iba hindi na nakaka-renew ng kanilang mga NC2s. Yun po, sir, ang tanong po namin. Thank you po.
Okay. Noted po yung ma'am. We will address yung mga yan para dun sa tamang kasagot. Pero ano hong observation niyo ho dito sa malaki ho ba yung local job markets natin for
So far
our
po,
graduates?
sir, yes po, sir, maganda po siya, sir. Kaso lang, ang mostly po kasi, sir, di ba sa old curriculum, andun na siya lahat. Kung pwede po sana, tanggalin na lang yung tinanggal na lang po yung ang nakikita po doon natin na parang household chores, di ba? Yun ang pinaka-concern doon dahil yun po sa mga live-in caregivers. Bakit po, sir, kailangan mag-specialize? So, sa amin naman po, sir, okay lang din naman sana mag-specialize isa-isa. Pero ang inaano lang din namin, sir, mas malaki po yung namin yung gastos sa pagpapaano ng NC2 kasi bawat specialization kailangan namin daanan yung lahat at saka bawat isang specialization po, sir, malaki na yung babayaran namin. So far naman okay naman po kami lahat po, sir, sa amin na hanay, lalo na po sa association namin. Nag-usap na rin kami kasi sa bagong curriculum na to na memorandum. Ang sabi naman namin, okay kami mag-undergo sa 4 na trainings, sa 4 na specialization na yon, pero sana less naman yung babayaran namin. Kasi mas okay din yon kasi makakatulong naman talaga yun sa amin na bilang practitioners talaga. Dahil meron na talagang specific na guidelines kami kung ano talaga yung specialize namin. Pero yung nga lang dun, sir, kasi sa 4 na yun na bagong memorandum, medyo mas mabigat na ng konti po, lalong-lalo na po sa amin na dito naman, locally naman, hindi naman ganun kalakihan po yung ibang sahod ng mga caregivers. Kaya yung iba din po, pasok na din sa caregiving kasi mas medyo madaling makahanap ng mga kliyente at trabaho. Unlike pag pumasok ka po, sir, sa mga sa ibang industries. Kaya po siguro naging boom talaga yung caregiver kahit abroad po. Kasi marami po talaga ang nag-hired sa caregiver. Pero so far naman, sir, sa old curriculum, parang wala naman po siyang wala naman may mga maraming feedback na mga ganun. Kaya ang inihiling lang din namin sana bilang bilang caregiver po, sana sa mga old curriculum, pagbigyan naman po kami na wag kaming mag-specialize sa 4 na yon at maggastos na ganun kalaki po, sir, sa bawat competencies na yon, sa 4 na competencies na yon. Yun lang din po.
Okay. Like to recognize also yung ating kaibigan ho from the Rizal TBI IPLC. What are your thoughts for question number 1 po? Okay. Hindi ho ata makakonect. So we'll accommodate po si Region 3, yung Metro Subic. Yan. Good morning po.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Teresita Ortin Oliver from Metro Subic Region 3. And the demand for the markets for graduates and certified workers locally, sa place po namin is malaki. We're even encouraging na dahil maraming resorts po sa Zambales, that the caregivers also be competent in taking care dun sa mga umuuwing abroad. That means may mga umuuwi pong galing abroad, but they would want to have local caregivers while they are staying here, either temporarily or permanently. Pero mas malaki po yata yung nakukuha kong feedback from the more global market demands. Kasi sa US po, as well as for Australia, ay madami pong sinasabi nilang pangangailangan. Actually, andito po ako sa Australia ngayon trying to find out kung totoo yung global demand kailangan ng Australia at this point in time. Hoping na magagawa natin yung ating mga training regulations and all the things that has to be promulgated in comparison to what the global market needs. FY po, medical doctor ako by profession. But as of the moment, nahihirapan po akong kumuha kung saan ako makakakuha ng NC1 for the specific curriculum na dapat kailangan. When we only have 10, 7 for the caregiving of the elderly, and 3 for the newborn. So sana po, magkaroon muna ulit ng capability building for these trainers para magamit namin sila as kailangan namin for the promulgation of the 4 migrated programs. Yun lang po sana ang request namin.
Yes po, Dr. Tess, thank you very much. These are all noted po. Next, we would like to call on Sir Nicholas. Sir Nicholas from ACTA po.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Sir Edwin, for providing us with all the information. No? Much as we wanted to share with you our thoughts as ACTA. ACTA, by the way, is Association of Caregiving TVIs, trainers and assessors based in Cebu. No? So we started actually last year, especially discussing on these things. Now, talking about the word, siguro I just focus on the question, the demand. Actually, one of our members, and she also represents a lot of hospitals here in Cebu. By the way, before I move on, we would like to tell everybody that we don't want, our position is, we requested that the current caregiving program will be continued vis-a-vis or together with different specialized skills. For a reason that, number one is, there's so much demand right now in the global market in terms of multi-skills. No, so the trend right now in the world is multi-skilling, not specialization. So, example, if we're talking about money here, so let's just say if the caregiver can only get the elderly and he works outside the country, and his skills is only, or her skills is only elderly, what if there's another need after the contract? So that's why we always, what we said is, we continue with the old program because it's about multi-skilling. It's not about specialization. Now, secondly, also in the local market, our hospitals needs multi-skilled workers, not specialized workers. So, because we have plenty of students and graduates in our school, because we are in Region 7, 8, and 10, we have 7 schools in the Visayas and Mindanao. Most of our graduates are working in hospitals, and the hospital needs multi-skilled. And so that's really the essence of what we want to happen. No? So it has been our share. We have talked with, we went to central office twice, and we had a discussion with QSD last year, November, about this together with CPI. No? So, and also we have to consider, one of the things that we're looking at also, we have to consider what will happen to because we also have a senior high school. What will happen to those students who what would happen to the students who are taking up NC2 caregiving? And if we close the program, so what will happen to them? What happens to the TESDA? And you're talking of thousands of students throughout the Philippines. So that's basically, so let me share to you what we have. Part of it is healthcare facilities require multi-skilled workers to cope with various kinds of patients and have more cost-effective operations. So that's one. Multi-skilling is more responsive to the shortage of health workers locally and abroad. Caregivers who are exposed to different types of patients have more employment and income opportunities locally and abroad. Okay. The current 786-hour duration has been expanded to 1,800 plus. Okay, so this will be very long for our graduates. And Filipino caregivers are still required to obtain foreign certification aside from the two, whether current TR or migrated or specialized TR. So changing the regulation would require substantial investment on the part of the TVIs, and private TVIs in the country, like us, were hit by Odette, were hit by pandemic, and then we're going to invest again. Okay, so that's really what we want to. Okay, that's really what we want. So changing regulations that require substantial investment on the part of TVIs, trainers, and assessors. Private TVIs in the country, as I mentioned about COVID and the Odette that we have in Cebu and Visayas, and we are imploring TESDA and the TESDA board to recover and resume services to the trainers and communities. I mentioned already senior high schools, which is very important for DepEd. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir Nick.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ayan, thank you. Again, we would like to remind all our participants for us to have a smooth itong activity natin to execute well, and for us to para mas maintindihan po natin yung sinasabi po ng isa po nating kasama po, may we request to refrain from unmuting yourselves. Ayun po, para ma-minimize po natin yung pag-feedback. Also, and now may we give the floor to Ma'am Sheila. Ma'am Sheila from Certification Office po.
Hi, Ma'am Jack. Good morning. Sheila Taon po from Certification Office. I would just like to respond dun po sa first question placed earlier, recommendation, regarding dun sa bigyan sana na yung mga TVI, yung mga institutions offering registered program in the old TR ng caregiving ng period to migrate to the 4 specialized TR. For information po ng lahat, meron po tayong sinasabing migration period. Ito po yung 1 year na para yung training institutions po natin ay makapag-build ng infra, makapag-participate dun sa mga infrastructure po, like for example, yung participation sa regional lead assessors. Before the RLA, sana meron ding RLT. Yun po yung sinasabi ni Doc kanina na i-capacitate yung mga trainers para makapag-migrate sila. Ito po ay handled by NTTA, which at the meantime, wala pa po tayong schedule for the regional lead trainers. But for the RLA, tapos na po ang ating RLA. Hopefully, lahat po ng regions ay send po ng participants for the regional lead assessors. Yung lahat ng yun ay nangyayari po during the 1-year migration period. In fact, yung migration po natin na extend po, supposedly it would end nung mid ng 2022. Pero based po sa discussion ni Sir Edwin kanina, in-extend po yan ng Certification Office to December 2022. So hindi lang po siya 1 year, from the promulgation ng 4 specialized TR, nag-extend pa po siya until December 2022.
Ay, daghan.
Lahat po itong nangyayari during the migration period ay dinidisseminate po natin sa regional and provincial offices. Na sila naman po dapat ang mag-disseminate to the respective training institutions. May tanong din po kanina yung sinasabi what will happen to the student with ongoing trainings. Based po sa yung nangyari po during the zonal conferences, siguro yung ibang TVIs ay nakapag-attend po. It was announced na coexisting po or still in effect po yung ating old TR. So may papalabas po yung certification office na memo on this.
Hello po, Ma'am Sheila. Parang disconnect mo ba sila? Ayan. Hi, Ma'am Sheila. Upon checking po, nandito po siya sa, tignan ko. Hello, Ma'am Sheila. Nawala nga, na-disconnect nga po sila. And we would like to also recognize the presence of Assistant Executive Director of Certification Office, Director Janet M. Abasolo is also here with us. Good morning, Director Janet. I think they have technical difficulty right now. Ayan. Again, we are seeing right now that there's a lot of we hear your po na we take note of all the chats po ng ating mga participants po rito. So we'll get back with the certification office once they're on board again. But we will move forward with number 2, given with the time constraints po. Again, we would like to remind our participants po that we have to, una po, papakilala po natin yung sarili natin. Let's make sure that we state from what region you're in and what institution or organization you are in, and also your full name. Please, yun, answer po muna natin yung ating tanong po as this, ayan, yung ating guide question po. As you can see on your screen right now, are there competency standards from the old caregiving NC2 still relevant to the demands of the industry? Ayan, so right, ayun, nawala po si ayan, Ma'am Sheila is already here. Ayan, Ma'am Sheila.
Yes, Ma'am
Yan,
Jack. Sorry,
go ahead. Yes,
nawala
ma'am.
ako. Nawala po ako.
Na-disconnect po ata, madam.
Yes.
Ma'am Jack, sorry, nasaan na po ako dun sa what will happen to the students with ongoing training po?
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
Okay po. Thank you, Ma'am Jack. May papalabas po yung certification office on this for clarification. Based nga po sa sinabi ni Sir Edwin kanina, status quo po muna tayo. So yung clarificatory guidelines po na ipapalabas namin as to paano po gagawin yung status quo will respond po dun sa question po ni Sir kanina, si Sir Nicolas ata yun, kung anong mangyayari po. So since status quo, yung registered programs po natin ay still in effect. We can still operate po caregiving until such time po mailabas yung amended TBR kung magkakairoon po tayo ng policy formulation out of this consultation. Yun po. Yun po, Ma'am Jack.
Okay, sige. Thank you po, Ma'am Sheila, for that. So, clear po sa ating mga participants, no? Yung in-explain po ni Ma'am Sheila. A clarificatory guidelines is being prepared by the certification office. Tapos, from there po, nandun po yung masastate o mapapaliwanag yung status quo na minention nga po ni Sir Edwin kanina. And to answer yung question ni Sir Nick, what would happen dun sa mga students nila or sa mga holders natin ng caregiving NC2. And on that clarificatory guidelines, mako-cover din po how long pa po or kung ma-extend pa po ba itong ating supposedly migration period na natapos nga po noong December 2022. So meaning, pag nailabas po yung clarificatory guidelines na yun, mas malinaw po to everyone na coexisting as of now, habang wala pa pong decision ang ating ang board kung ano pong mangyayari as of now, gumagana yung old na caregiving at pwede na po mag-register sa any of those 4 na bago nating caregiving NC2. Okay? So maraming salamat po Ma'am Sheila for that explanation. So let's proceed po sa second question. So we hope po makakuha kami ng feedback dito sa question na to. To recognize, pwede pong magsalita Ma'am Nila Flor from Sipay. Ma'am Flor, are you there? Ay, parang nawala si Ma'am Flor. Okay, sige po. How about is this from Calabarzon Caregivers, Bernel Rosario?
Yes, hello po, good
Ay, good
morning.
morning po, sir.
Okay, ma'am, my name is Bernel C. Rosario. So, I come from Calabarzons po. Actually, group, member po ako ng Calabarzons Caregivers Group and Caregivers Philippines po. So, I can answer the first, ma'am, sa question number 1 po, ma'am, kung gumagana po ba yung local demand po natin. So, sa local demands po, ma'am, mas marami po talaga. Tama po yung sabi kanina na sir na mas multitask po ngayon ang mga caregivers ang kailangan po. So not only for the elderly, meron din po sa mga iba't ibang cases po na hinahandle po ng mga caregivers. So yun po yung mga demand po ngayon. And then sa abroad naman po ma'am, mostly nakikita ko po ma'am is multitask din po siya ma'am. So doon po tayo sa question number 2 naman po ma'am, are the competency standards from the old caregiving institute still relevant to the demands of the industry? Sa tingin ko po ma'am is demand pa rin po siya ma'am, kasi po yung in-situ po na old po ma'am na curriculum is nandun na po siya lahat eh. So na multitask na, meron multitask na rin po siya. Kumbaga siguro ma'am, ang madadagdag na lang siguro kung stayed kung ano pa rin yung new curriculum, siguro ma'am is yung mga pag-relationship sa between the caregivers and the employer or your client po ma'am. Kasi mostly po kami po yung nasa pool, ang kadalasan po namin na experiences is mas toxic pa po yung clients kaysa doon sa pasyente. Kaya siguro mas maganda madagdag din po yun doon sa new curriculum po. So demand pa rin naman po ngayon yung old caregiving in situ. So magagamit pa rin naman po siya sa ngayon. So siguro ang na rin po siguro sa akin is sana po mabigyan mo ng yung mga old caregiving in situ na sana magagamit pa po nila yon. Dahil medyo mahirap din po ngayon ang mag-change po agad. At lalo na po marami na rin malalaki na rin po ang gastos.
Ito yung
So that is na medyo ano pa rin po siya sa ngayon pagka i-adapt po agad yung new curriculum. So sana po is makapag-renew po muna yung mga dating may mga existing na old curriculum na in situ. So yan lang po ma'am.
Thank you po Sir Bernel for that. So, tulad po ng sagot kanina ni Ma'am Sheila from our certification office, yung mga current holders natin ng NSIM or COC sa old na curriculum can still renew po yung kanilang mga certificates ngayon. So, siguro, ano na, sabihan natin sila, mag-renew na sila. Mag-renew na sila ngayon. So, until such time po na magkaroon nga po ng decision, what would really happen dito? Kung masastop ba si old at maiiwan yung apat, or magiging continually na silang i-offer coexisting with each other. Okay? Tapos yung recommendation nyo po, Sir Bernal, is duly noted. That is yung yung further ano po sa relationship or how the caregiver handle their ano po no, yung relationship nila with their client. Okay po.
Yes, ma'am. Kasi
Sige,
mas
Sir Bernal,
ma'am,
duly noted po. Maraming salamat po. So if i-reiterate ko lang po, kayo po, ang recommendation nyo is for the old caregiving to retain or to be offered coexisting with the four new. Tama po?
Ma'am, retain po muna po, ma'am.
Okay.
Kumbaga,
Sige po.
yun na po
That's
muna
noted. Maraming salamat, Sir Bernal. Sige po.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any more? Si Miss Abelin Santos, ano ho masasabi natin dito? Sa number 2 question. Ma'am Abelin Santos.
Permission to speak, sir.
Claire.
Sir Edwin.
Yes,
Nila
ma'am.
Valdez po, sir.
Okay po.
Caregivers of the Philippines Association, founding president po.
Sige po, ma'am. You're recognized po.
Sir. So I just want to answer number 1 po. Ano po ba yung demand ng local po natin ngayon? So as I observe, sa lahat po ng, sa akin na lang, being a caregiver po, sir. Ako kasi, ang lahat ng inalagaan ko ay elderly. So as a caregiver, syempre gawin mo po lahat yung gagawin mo. So multitasking po talaga yan. Kapag nag-aalaga po tayo ng caregiver, ng elderly sa ating client, within the cubicle of our client, yun po yung ating responsibility as a caregiver. So kung may naihian siyang damit, so dapat labhan po natin yun. So kasama po doon sa ating caregiving NCT po noon. Kasi nga, sabi nga ni Sir Edwin po noon doon sa sizes ng Canada, kaya nagkaroon po tayo ng caregiving TR na caregiving NCT po. So ngayon, hanggang ngayon, ay yun pa rin po yung practice po natin, yung caregiving NC2. Pero ngayon, nag-iiba po ang mundo. So kailangan po na maging globally competitive po ang ating mga caregivers. So kaya po nagkaroon pa po tayo ng specialization. So ano po yung ng specialization natin? Kasi katulad na lang ng Israel, katulad ng Japan, katulad ng Finland, ang kanilang inaalagaan po ng ating mga caregivers po doon ay mga elderly o kaya special needs. So sa ibang bansa naman po, katulad ng Canada, kumukuha pa rin po sila ng mga caregivers nila na maging nanny, but not a caregiver. So meron po tayong, in every country, meron po tayong iba't ibang tawag po sa ating mga caregivers. Ano po? So ano po ang demand po ng ating global demand po natin? So kailangan po natin, ang ating mga caregivers dito sa Pilipinas, they will go to para mag-specialize po sila na pagpunta po nila doon sa abroad ay kaya po nilang gawin kung ano po yung mga nakalagay po doon sa contract nila. Kaya marami pong napapauwi ngayon po dito sa atin, hindi po equip kung ano po yung mga dapat nilang gawin as a caregiver. Kasi ang ating caregiving NC2 ay familiar po sa ating course na domestic work. Domestic work. Kaya po, kailangan po natin talaga ng specialization sa ating caregivers. It's not only doon sa specialized person na mentality po natin, but as a specialized caregiver, we need also to adapt kung ano po yung mga gawain po natin sa ating mga client katulad ng performing caring skills sa ating mga clients.
Ano si tao?
Ano po? So, yan po yung aking masasabi po sa number 1. Doon sa number 2 po naman, are the competency standards from the old caregiving NC2 still relevant to the demands of the industry? Somehow, doon sa ating caregiving NC2 po kasi, ay meron po nakalagay po doon na provide and support doon sa elderly at saka toddlers, infant, toddlers, and preschoolers, which is napasama po doon sa specialization natin, which is na ano po yun, na hati-hati po yun. Ang ano ko po kasi, kung magiging coexistence po ang caregiving NC2 sa new TR, eh syempre, mas marami po ang pupunta sa caregiving NC2. So ano na lang po, yung hirap ng ating mga expert na gumawa po ng ating new curriculum kung i-coexistence po natin ang caregiving NC2, which is yung caregiving NC2 po natin ay naandun po lahat yung mga competencies niya, yung competency standards niya, nandun po lahat sa domestic helper. Ano po? So yun lang po, Sir Edwin, ang aking pong masasabi. Thank you po.
Hello.
Noted ho, Ma'am Flor. Maraming salamat ho for all the inputs and recommendations that you gave us. So next ay si Ma'am Abelin Santos po. Nandiyan ho ba siya? Wala. Si Ma'am Chris Darnell.
Yes, hi. Good morning to everyone. I am so thankful that you TESDA and the national agency has opened this forum concerning the current questions that we are all demanding an answer so that we can move on with the caregiving program. I am representing our school in the Bicol region, Region 5. My name is Crishila Fermo Darnell, and I come from the Evangeline Ferrer Fermo School of Excellence. I am the CEO of the school, and I'm currently here in the United States. And being a registered critical care nurse for 32 years, I would like to share that on the first question that was posted on this group, there is a very much needed demand for all the caregivers in our own country as well as abroad. We are partnered with the Japanese people who are asking us to produce 2,500 caregivers for Japan alone. We have friends in Canada who are asking us to send them qualified caregivers so that they can augment the need for all ages in the spectrum that requires caregiving. I was also approached by someone in Israel to actually open another school in Israel. So what does it tell us? Yes, there is a great demand. Locally, before our students even graduate, local hospitals and people in the community are already approaching the school for caregivers in the local community. So the answer to the demand is so great that in terms of migrating or not migrating, I believe that we are to continue with the old curriculum because it works. A system that works, for me, there is a saying that if it's not broken, why fix it? However, I believe in advancing the program in such a way that when we look at the holistic approach of caring for patients, we don't just care for skin, we don't just care according to the system, but as a whole, according to what is needed. But the skills that are required to care for all these patients means that a particular graduate, a particular student who will actually enroll in the program needs to be aware to and has the particular skill, not just to clean the house, not just to clean the patient's body, but to respond to emergencies, which is also included in our old curriculum. Now, if they are going to learn section by section, and as part of my other colleagues here in this forum has mentioned, it has driven a lot of our students that are inquiring in our school from actually enrolling and just hoping and believing that there will be scholarships because they cannot afford. How much more if we're going to say, oh, you have to go this COC, this COC, this COC, and there are 4 of them, and you have to do that over a period of 2 years. The whole purpose of having the vocational that I believe is presented by TESTA to augment poverty and education for those who cannot afford to go to college and have a college degree is just so that they can have this needed vocational skill to be able to acquire a job and improve their economic status. More than that, they have a life skill that they can even use in their own families. So the question is, yes, it is needed on number 1. And number 2, let me just close this screen that has a pop-up. Number 2, are the competency standards from the old caregiving NC2 still relevant to the demands of the industry? It is very much relevant. And why is that? Because the skills that are being given as a training, a formal training to those who are high school graduates, they are easily grasped by them. But it is with so much quality instruction that we have to instill to the students so that they can actually take care of life. We're not taking care of trees. We're taking care of people. And I believe that to some of everyone here who have said they can coexist, but I believe also in improving and putting a different adaptation by enhancing the program to where we don't necessarily have to change the whole thing. I mean, it's a bright idea to migrate, but if you're going to do a migration, you might as well give them an associate degree, because who would spend the time and the money when they do not have a certain degree that will back up what they have studied? It remains a vocational skill. And even if you go to Canada, they're asking for a caregiving certificate to be a nanny because that is what they need in their visas. I have someone who works in the immigration there. And that's what they're asking for. And otherwise, you don't meet the standards. There are certain standards that has to be upheld and maintained in this vocational skill. So competencies, yes, we train them to make sure they pass and they know how to do CPR, how to do all those formulas, how to care for these patients because they are lives. They're not just an avenue to make money, but to really care for life. We all are going to get old one of these days. And when you look at the way healthcare is going, no one and nobody is really wanting to do all the dirty diapers and all that. But when we get old, let's ask the fair question: who will take care of us? If we don't train up skilled people that has a heart to actually do the work and the care. It's called caregiving. And likewise, sir, if you don't mind, Sir Edwin and Mom, if I may, the demand for these jobs in Japan, we also needed to give them the language. Our school has offered the language for Nihongo so that it can go side by side for the job. But TESDA has not provided us the scholarship that's needed by the students to augment the education that they need to go to those career paths in Japan. So with that said, Po, I really appreciate this forum because we can really give our what we call opinion or our thoughts on the matter, but it is really, really important for us that we retain this this old curriculum, but perhaps enhance them and not just totally change it completely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am Chris, for that very insightful input po, no? So, just to reiterate po yung recommendation from Ma'am Chris, you are okay in retaining the old curriculum, but we need to at least review it to improve, to address what is yung need po ngayon talaga sa yung at least makover yung practice ngayon sa industry. Correct pa, Ma'am Chris?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
I forgot to mention one other
Sige po.
thing. With all the things that I said about life and caring for life, which is valuable, when we experienced COVID, and our school actually just opened in 2020 in the middle of COVID, but thank God that we actually overcome and we were sustained. Really, to me, why we train caregivers the way we are training them, it's because of safety. So many deaths have befallen us in the past 2 years, and it's still there. We have not totally eradicated COVID. However, the safety of the clients that we take care of is of a priority in terms of caregiving. And we cannot just allow them to complete a certain standard of competency here without making sure that they are able to take care of them safely. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Chris. So may nilabas po kanina kaming poll. So maraming salamat po sa mga sumagot. For the next question, we'll have another poll kasi related po siya dito sa number 2 question. Ang number 2 question natin is still relevant ba yung competency standards ng old caregiving NC2 natin? So the next question is relevant din po ba sa demands ng industry? Third question. Ayan, relevant din po ba yung competency standards sa industry natin ngayon ng caregiving, yung nailista for the 4 caregiving NC2? So pasensya na, medyo talagang related naman po siya. Gusto lang po namin mas maging malinaw po yung makukuha namin na data and information from this public forum. So we'll release the poll for this third question. So we will proceed with the discussion kasi nga po related naman po rin po yung ating questions, si number 2 and 3. Okay, so Sir Edwin, sino po ang next nating tatawagin? Ma'am Paulette from Region 7, she's raising her hands kanina pa po. Ma'am Paulette, sige po, go ahead po.
Yeah, I'm Paulette Liu. I represent Region 7. I'm a member of ACTA. I'm also the HR executive for the primary group. We run 2 hospitals in Cebu. I also run a TVI. At the same time, I also run overseas recruitment agency. I look at this situation in terms of different perspective. First, as an employer, as a hospital, caregiving program is really essential. I'm also active with the People Management Association in the Philippines. So we're looking at talent management in the different companies, in the different facilities. And true enough, there's a talent shortage. And having caregivers help us address the talent shortage in the medical industry, especially the nurses during COVID. What helped our hospitals, even in Cebu, are the caregivers. And globally, there's a thrust towards multi-skilling. So why are we regressing and specializing? The whole world wants to be multi-skilled. We're talking about upskilling, reskilling, retooling. So I think we have to follow the trend. Yes, there are specializations, but I think that should be more of enhancements for those who would like to pursue a specialized field rather than enforce everyone to specialize. That's the employer's point of view. Now, in terms of recruitment agency, we have also employers abroad, and they're very happy with our old curriculum. We never had complaints. We had no repatriation so far. So I think maybe because they're more agile, more flexible, and easy to deal with, and can do a lot of other activities aside from just basic caregiving. Secondly, I would say also that as a caregiver, using the NC2, the previous NC2, you have better opportunities for employment. You know, I mean, as a beneficiary of this program, as our scholars, you know, as a trainee, you will have more opportunities for employment. Because the thrust is to make programs accessible and affordable to alleviate poverty. If we have 4 specializations, it will make it difficult for them to be employable, in a sense, because they're just too specialized. So if they take care of an elderly and that elderly passes on, they have no other skills because they cannot take care of the infants, they can take care of the special needs and so on. Whereas the old caregiving program will provide more opportunities for employment. So in case their patient passes on, they have the skills to move and take care of the other, like adolescents or infants and so on. So you create more opportunities to help them alleviate from poverty. The course will become affordable, accessible, okay, for those who don't have much in life. So I would suggest that we continue with the old caregiving program. Yes, I agree, we need to enhance it, but we don't need to really change it and just, you know, let us run the old program and let it coexist with the specialization. So for those who would like to specialize, they can pursue the specialization. Okay, but I still believe that we have to go with the trend globally. We need to be multi-skilled. We will not survive. We will just too specialized, too rigid. Okay, I think that's just it. What about the competency standards for you? Yes, they address the requirements, they address the industry needs, but I think they're just too specialized. What will happen is may iwan sila. May iwan in terms of employment opportunities, may iwan sila because they're just limited to one specific skill. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much po for the inputs.
Can I add one more thing, po?
Yes.
I think most of the people here already seems to be aligned with the you know, their sentiments on continuing the old caregiving program, and they also agree that it needs to be enhanced. And at the same time, maybe you can offer the new caregiving alongside the old one. So I think many of them already have said their piece regarding their sentiments with the old caregiving program.
Okay, thank you very much po. Can we have Ma'am Risa Matias from NCR ATSMI?
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Riza Surima Matias of the Association of Technical Schools of Manila, Inc., or ATSMI, and also part of the Board of Trustees of the NCR Alliance of Tibet Schools Associations. Pareho din po ang aking mga sasabihin sana doon sa mga nagsalita na. So I will not anymore mention all those dahil talaga pong suporta kami to the retention of the old caregiving NC2 curriculum, and okay lang po side by side with the new for migrated TRs. Ang gusto ko lang pong i-erase po dito sana ay yung sa kapakanan ng ating mga assessment centers ng old curriculum ng caregiving, dahil although even our DG has in his statements nagsasabi na coexisting ang old caregiving NC2 dito sa new TRs, pero ang ating application for renewal of caregiving NC2 assessment as a venue ng assessment ng old caregiving NC2 hindi po tinatanggap at hindi po ina-actionan ng ating district offices. So ano po kaya ang thoughts dito ng ating certification office? Yun lang po ang gusto kong nating malaman for and in behalf of the assessment centers. Thank you po.
Okay, can we request our colleagues from the certification office po?
Sir Edwin.
Yes po.
Permission to speak po. This is Rachel Saenz po.
Yes, ma'am.
from the
Sige. Go ahead
certification
po.
office. Sir, on behalf of our Assistant Executive Director, Janet M. Abasolo po. So this is regarding this is to respond po doon sa inquiry regarding the renewal of the national certificate and the renewal for accreditation of our assessment centers. For the renewal of the national certificate po, so as mentioned kanina, status quo po tayo. So our provincial and district offices po can still accept the application for the renewal of their NCs, and also for the renewal of accreditation for of assessment centers in the old TR po, pwede pa rin po mag-accept ng renewal po, mag-process and accept ng application for renewal and application for new. So na-mention din po kanina ni Ma'am Sheila Taon that we will be issuing po a clarificatory memorandum regarding the old TR po ng caregiving. So pakiantay na lang po, pero meantime po, yun po yung stand ng certification office regarding program registration and assessment and certification arrangements po. Thank you po.
Follow up lang po, ma'am. Kasi maski yung sa coexistence, merong test na circular pinalabas noon ni DDG Ma'am Rosana. Pero hindi po in-honor ng ating mga district offices because there is no test the board resolution basing the statement of DDG Rosana. Ang hinihintay po ng ating district offices ay yung text the board resolution superseding or amending the statement na talagang nawala po ang old caregiving NC2 curriculum. Mayroon na po ba tayong test the board resolution amending this? Dahil kung wala pong test the board resolution, ganun pa rin ang sasabihin ng ating test the offices na there is no legal basis of the statements of test the officials because there is no test the board resolution. Hindi pa rin po even if we have this statement, if there is no test the board resolution, wala po tayong magagawa. So mayroon po ba tayong legal basis from the side of the test the board? Thank you po.
Thank you po, Ma'am Risa. For that po, what we'll be issuing lang po is a memorandum, and I think it is stated po in the memorandum na maglalapse lang po yung mag-change po yung status na yun based po doon sa ilalabas or lalabas ng mga test the board resolution. And as to that po, I think you can relay po to the Qualifications and Standards Office to answer if there will be a test the board resolution na po for that. Thank you po.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Okay.
Qualification standards, meron po. Thank you po.
Regarding ho dun sa area na yun, kaya nga ho kami nagkukuhan ho ng mga suggestions and questions. So we're going into that direction. Kasi after this, we will be preparing an activity report and for management to have a decision on this if we will be going back to the board regarding dun sa issuance of a new test the board resolution for this purpose po. Thank you po.
Ay, hello po. Magandang hapon. Ay, magandang umaga. Follow up lang po dun sa statement po. May I also know po if possible na rin po ba kung ang renewal ng NC is possible, ang new program registration po for the old curriculum po, pwede pa rin po ba?
Yes, sinabi na ho kanina na kung ano ho yung existing na policies nga ho ngayon, wala pa naman hong nagbago doon eh. So, po pwede po. Yes, can you have Ma'am Wilma Osin?
Okay, thank you for my chance. And I am Wilma Osin from Ligamist Training Center Incorporated of Technical Vocational Association of Iligan and Lanao del Norte. So Elsa, good morning, and good morning also to the host of this forum. For us, this is really very important so that we will be enlightened about this. So yes, for the number before I would say anything, I would like to commend and give my salute to Ma'am Chris Damel and also to Colette Liu, because we are with them. We are with them. Okay, so yes, we don't see any problems at the moment because of our standards, the competencies that we have. Because here in our school, there are Japanese people who come here, and then they would like to put up a school for Japanese, so that the students, after it will be deployed to Japan, that is free of anything for expenses, because that's government to government. Their only problem is to study the language. See, so we don't see any feedback that is against our curriculum for today. And also, we have so many students because for now, we 2022, we have 200, more than 200 certified caregivers that we have, and then so many of them are deployed in UK, in US, in Ireland, and also other parts of the world, and also the Middle East. So we don't see any problem about the new curriculum, the old curriculum. So we hope that, yes, enhancement of the new curriculum, we go with that also, because we should be competitive globally. But to erase completely the caregiving NC2, I think for us it's very, why change it when it is working well? We jive with all the caregivers, with global caregivers. So I have also my relatives in different countries, and I ask them, is it already, though they changed curriculums about their programs in Caregiving Institute? And everybody said, no, we still have the kind of curriculum that we knew. And for us, it is very good to enhance, because we need to compete globally. And but to erase and to make of no effect for the Institute Caregiving, I think for now it is very hard, because we are from pandemic and everything. So I think I need not to speak more, because what Ma'am Chris Damel and also Ma'am Colette Liu expressed, that is also our sentiments. Thank you very much. And for this question number 3, what about the competency standards from the 4 new Caregiving Institute? Which standards meet the demands of the industry, both domestically and abroad? For now, honestly, I cannot give the comments, because we didn't explore yet, and we don't know yet. What we know is our curriculum that is existing, which is preferable to all caregivers standards all throughout the globe. So our take for this number 3 question, I think still just enhancement, but not changing the curriculum. Thank you very much.
Yan, maraming salamat po. Thank you po, Madam. All of your comments and inputs are duly noted po, ma'am. So, okay po. So again, we would like to thank everyone who participated in our poll po. Okay, so we will now proceed with our... sige po, Ma'am Marley.
Sige po. Before we proceed with the next question, wait po may babasahin lang po ako para lang mas malinaw. Si Ma'am, where is it? Ayun. Kung renewable po ba ang NC2, same din po ba para sa NTTC ng old caregiving? from certification office po siguro natin, ano natin yung question.
Yeah. Hi ma'am Barbie, sorry po.
Yes.
Yes po ma'am. This is Rachel po by the way. Yes po, renewable pa din po yung NTTC po natin ma'am in the old TR po.
Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Rachel. Clear na po sa ating mga, lalo na po sa TVIs po natin and sa trainers natin. Renewable po ang NC2 for the holders, same with the NTTC po para sa old caregiving NC2. May we
Thank you,
accept enrollees,
ma'am.
please? Right now, there are a number of interest. So, Ma'am Rachel, i-ano ko na lang din ulit, no? Para baka iba kasi hindi na-capture yung sagot kanina. Pwede pa rin po silang mag-accept ng enrollees sa sa old caregiving
Curriculum.
NC natin.
For training, yes po ma'am. It is naman po stated din nga po sa nabanggit ni Ma'am Sheila kanina na memorandum ma'am.
Okay.
Antay na rin yung lumabas ma'am. Thank you po.
Sige. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Rachel. So, para po kay Ma'am Helen, yung nagtanong po sa chat box, yes, it will be, yes daw po, and mai-include daw po yan sa clarificatory guidelines na ilalabas po ng TESDA through the certification office. Okay, parang may naririnig po ako kanina. Okay, sige po. We'll proceed with number 4 question. So, yung mga hindi po namin nabibigyan ng chance na i-raise yung kanilang question, please utilize the chat box or yung Q&A form po natin. Okay, so maraming salamat po.
Okay, so here we go. Thank you very much, Ma'am Barbie. So our fourth question is, what are the challenges encountered during the registration of the new caregiving NC2 programs? So, yan, we'll be checking on yung mga naka-raise ang hand po natin. Maybe we can call on QCS Solutions.
Hi, good morning po to everyone. So we are trying to set up a new training center here in Sorsogon City. And since wala na dito ang training center, so we're trying to cooperate with TESDA in regards to setting up a new one. So in regards to that po, so everything is changing, di ba? Is there any way that we can still accredit using the old curriculum, or dapat mag-ano na kami sa new ibinibigay po na for elderly lang, ganun? Ano po ang magiging ano namin nito status? Kasi we are on the works of building na po.
Yeah, sige po, maybe perhaps we can receive response from certification po, certification office regarding sa concern ng QCS Solutions po. All right. So, yes.
Sige, siguro po we'll address the question to certification office. Ma'am, i-reiterate ko lang po. What's your name po ulit, ma'am, from QSCS Solutions?
It's Katrina Carretero po.
Ayan, Ma'am Katrina. So your question is, if you in setting up a new training center, if you
Opo.
can still use the old curriculum sa
Opo.
pagpapa-accredit po, no?
Opo. Kasi
Opo.
meron na din kaming instructor na under na din ng old, ano po, yung may old na NC2 po.
Opo. Sige. Parang sa capture ko kanina is yes, you may, pero para mas sure lang po yung sagot, may we have from certification office if Ma'am Rachel is still here po. Ma'am Rachel?
Hi, ma'am. Actually, I am from the competency assessment division. Pero
Okay.
if I remember it correctly, according to Ma'am Sheila, pwede pa naman po. Kasi in the clarificatory memorandum po, pwede pa pong mag-accept nung old na in the old TR. So maybe the old curriculum will still be accepted po. Thank you po.
That's very nice po, kasi maraming gustong maging, there's a huge demand in Canada in regards to caregiving, and similar po sa lahat ng mga nasa forum ngayon na it's really a huge demand, and you have to be multitask sa like myself, I'm from Canada din, so I'm also ano din, affiliated with different schools in Canada. So ngayon ang huge demand talaga is for elderly, but then if we can just we enhance na lang the old caregiving curriculum na hindi naman i-chop-chop na natin lahat, kasi it will magiging mabagal din yung paglabas din ng ating mga caregivers dito, which will provide employment para sa lahat ng nasa Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Katrina, for that. Sige, maraming salamat din po kay Ma'am Rachel for answering. So, pwede po namin tawagin si Miss Maria Cristina Bermudez. Ma'am May.
Hello, ma'am. Good
Are you
morning
there po?
po.
Ma'am May.
All right. So, good morning po sa lahat. As an elderly expert, I would like to say something. And this is what I observed po. All right. As a national expert and at the same time, nag-assess na po ako ng mga industry workers coming from different schools. Most likely, they failed. Why? Kasi hindi sila nagbubukas ng UTR, or just to say na they did attend the assessment without being prepared. So it's hard for us, the assessors, to fail, to give them NYC, thinking that they're just wasting their money. So for me, I respect all your opinions, moms and sirs, all your suggestions. But then the core competency of the old TR is really different from our new TR. Why? Because we do not already give obligations to our caregivers to cook, to clean, to laundry for the whole family. Especially kung na-design natin siya in Canada, wherein living in pa rin ang caregivers. So we have this Caregiver Welfare Act to give the rights and the duties of the new caregivers, that they should be informed that it's only the patient's belongings, room, ang kanilang responsibility, not the whole family. All right? And then, what else? We have the new TR assessment to be implemented immediately. Kasi, as I have assessed, ma'am and sirs, most of the industry workers are not already knowledgeable how to sanitize the vital signs equipment. Kumbaga, station 2 pa lang bagsak na. Why? They do not know how to sanitize. Ang target namin today, since we are already in COVID, na wala pa sa 2007, COVID-19 is a infectious virus, right? Hanggang ngayon, nasa COVID-19 pa rin tayo. But then what? What's happening in the assessment? They do not know how to change gloves. They do not know how to use this pick a forceps when they're going to get the cotton balls from the canister. So how are we going to pass them? Well, it is relevant. Ang ating old TR is okay. Konti lang naman ang nadagdag. If you're going to make it voluntarily, paano nila malalaman yung new TR how to do client care planning, how to use AED for the new BLS? Tell me. I am for the industry workers. Gusto ko maging competitive, maging world class tayo, kasi because we are known, we are very hospitable, we are caring, but that's not enough. We need to upgrade our knowledge and the skills, and of course the attitude, ma'am. You are for abroad, pero dito pa lang sa Pilipinas, ang laki na ng problema ng mga bagong graduate, o I don't know, sabi pa nga ng isa, 6 months daw siyang nag-aral ng caregiving, and yet she doesn't know how to clean the stethoscope, and even yung pangalan ng stethoscope na may mental block. So, why reassessment? Lahat kasi, ma'am, ay dadaan sa amin yung whether you are a NC2 holder ng old TR and yung mga bagong gagraduate, we should have a good, united and the same principles of these curriculums ng ating new TR. Alright? So, yun lang naman lang. Meron kami mga laws na dinagdag. So, sana buksan nyo rin yung bagong TR to upgrade the level of the new caregiving curriculum. Yun lang po, ma'am. So, as I've said, enhancement is okay. If you want to retain the old TR, yes, but it's not a voluntarily action. It is a must. You have to include them. Hindi pwedeng kung sino lang pwede ang gustong mag-assessment. So whatever the outcome of these seminars, moms and sirs, I am for the industry workers, it's not, and also for the trainers and assessors na nagpapa-assessment. Marami pa rin, ma'am, ang bumabagsak, even assessors. Why? Because they do not read. They do not open the new TR. They don't know what they're going to do when they're already in the assessment. It's not the old type. Hindi pwedeng mabilisan, hindi pwedeng kaibigan o kakilala. Because we are molding this new caregiving people who will be our representatives in other countries. Yun lang po. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Cristina Bermudez. Those comments are duly noted din po. Ayan, from our secretariat. Salamat po. Okay, so we'll now proceed. We would like to hear from Maria Cecilia Reyes from UPHSD.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning po, ma'am.
Morning.
I am Maria Cecilia po from University of Perpetual Health System, Dalta, Las Piñas po. And currently po is nagtuturo po ako sa caregiving. So actually po, right now po is from the questions that you have raised po, is it relevant po? From the old TR, yes, opo, talagang kasi multitasking po yan. So marami po kaming students right now that they are waiting for the enrollment po for the old TR. But then, on the other side naman po, di ba po meron tayong for qualifications na po tayo ngayon, which nag-i-implement na po, no? Meron din po kami mga graduates ng caregiver who is already an NC2 holder na po with our old TR. But then, they are also, gusto rin po nilang kumuha po ng kanilang elderly na NC2 po. At yung pong iba is nakapag-file na po for the NC2 ng elderly. Now, from the last speaker po natin, nag-comment po natin, as based on my experience po, I had already an NC2 for elderly at nakatapos na po ako. I just want to share po na iba po talaga din yung ni NC2 ako ng elderly because iba po ang approach when it comes on the assessment po. Tama po yung sinabi, marami pong kakaibahan from the old. But then, I agree po na i-offer pa rin po natin, if possible po ang old TR natin because of some people na they cannot really po afford to have the 4 qualification po. But then we can also have din po the 4 qualification if some of our graduates or if some of our students wants to have this specialization po. Let's say for example, may mga hospital po or may mga areas or may mga let's say countries that they will be obliged also to have the NC2 for those some qualification po. Yun lang po yung sa akin po. So ngayon po, ang nire-raise ko din po sa inyo is kami po is from the University of Perpetual Las Piñas. We have number of students na rin po na naghihintay na po na mag-enroll po. So right now po, nag-freeze po kami. We start na mag-freeze po kami. And almost every day po, they are waiting and they are asking if they can pursue with the enrollment po. Yun lang po, ma'am. Salamat po.
Salamat po, ma'am. Thank you for expressing your observations on this. Okay, so meron. Hello po. Yes, we would like to hear from Region 10, Ma'am Irene Lim. Ayan. Sige po, we will proceed to Ma'am Esther Gauran. Ma'am Esther.
Yes, good morning. Do you hear
Good morning,
me?
ma'am.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Clear. Clear po.
I'm from Davao City, and I'm an assessor for caregiving, and I am an owner of a home care where the caregiving is to have a training with me. and also a nursing director of a hospital where I opened the hospital for the caregivers. So ang concern ko lang talaga po is the old curriculum is okay, but we need to enhance po natin siya kasi there's a lot of things na, for example, na infection control, they need to be know that. Yung mga basic nursing na alam nila kung ano yung i-report nila na mga vital sign na dapat na i-report kasi I'm giving training for them. Yung kulang na kulang pa talaga yung kanilang mga knowledge because as a caregiver sa labas sa Israel, sa New Zealand, sa UK, maraming nag-ask but yung kanilang skills needs to be upgraded. So siguro bigyan natin sila ng program as sa basic nursing. Mga hindi naman lahat siguro sa basic nursing, dapat malaman nila kung anong sakit na kanilang pasyente para alam nila kung paano sila mag-report sa nurse, and the nurse's notes nila kailangan hindi naman caregiving notes sabihin natin para ma-report nila sa nurse kung ano yung kanilang nagawa sa patient nila because the nurses will be relying on the records where the caregiver is doing. Kasi as a nurse din ako, I have to know kung ano ang nangyari sa patient up to sa endorsement, 'di ba? Dapat may endorsement 'yan sa caregiving. So, maganda din naman yung new curriculum, but it will take long. But siguro ang gagawin natin is concerned talaga ako sa caregiving because we must be globally competent sa labas, no? Tingnan natin in reality, ganun na ganun talaga gagawin nila. Sa UK, caregiving, mag-travel siya, pupunta siya sa bahay-bahay ng patient, magbigay siya ng medication, magbigay siya ng insulin, magbigay siya ng ganon. So, yung ngayong old curriculum, medyo dagdagan natin ng konti para maging competent globally competent sila. Kahit dito sa Philippines, there's a lot of client asking me for a caregiver, but I need to train them for such a thing na maging kampante din ako na ayos ang paghawak nila sa patient. Then the attitude is the most important thing kasi ang deal with the caregiver and the client. Pero pagdating naman sa maging strict siguro tayo, no? Kasi kung caregiver ka, you have to take care of the patient, not to take care for everything in the house. Okay? So, ngayon, noong panahon siguro pwede yun, but this time, caregiver is a caregiver. So you have to take care of your patient, including the room. Okay, kasi dapat neat ang room ng patient. But you are not included to wash the clothes, to clean the other house chores. So, ganun ang nakikita ko sa caregiving natin na demand talaga kahit saan because we are getting old. The population is getting old. Even my facilities here in Davao City, I'm preparing a facility that is a height. Magte-training sila ng according sa what is the reality sa labas. They need to know how to use the lifter. They need to know how to use the slide sheet kasi bawal naman sa caregiving yung bitin yung matanda at saka you use your power, yung likod mo. I have to take care also the caregivers. So, kailangan marunong sila gumamit ng lifter, marunong sila gumamit ng mga slide sheets, and they know how to do the caregiver notes na magkaroon sila ng magandang communication through writing because by talking is not enough. If the task you have been done, not written, is not done. Yan lang po at I hope this caregiving system of yung caregiving system natin sa Pilipinas is ma-enhance natin, then we will be globally competent. And I really want to help caregivers here in the Philippines, in Davao City, to be competent, globally competent, really. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ma'am Esther, for that input po. Maraming salamat po. This again, lahat po ito ay ating tinitake to po ng ating secretariat. So we will now proceed with the fifth question. Yan, last na po ito. What are your recommendations to harmonize the implementation of caregiving NC2 program? May we hear again kay Ma'am Irene? Ma'am Irene Lim of Region 10. Alright, so mukhang baka po nagkakaroon ng technical difficulty si Ma'am Irene. May we hear from NCR Asia Pacific Caregiver?
Hello, good morning po.
Hi, good morning, ma'am.
Opo. Good morning po, Bale. I'm Cyril Magallanes po, Registrar and Accounting in charge po ng aming school, Asia Pacific Caregiver and Health Training Center. Actually, maganda po yung pang last na question, kung ano po yung suggestion. Hindi na po ako sasagot doon sa mga nauna. Yung sasabihin ko na lang po talaga yung suggestion, and we're really glad po that we're able to join this forum. Kasi as Caregiver Training Center po, kami talaga yung number 1 na affected dun sa ongoing migration ng Caregiving NC2 to the latest curriculum po. So practically speaking, sirs and ma'ams, yung new curriculum po na CG, though maganda naman po siya, pero kung isusupersede niya po yung old CG curriculum, hindi po siya ganun ka-advantageous pagdating po dun sa mga kababayan natin na wala pa pong definite na employment destination sa caregiving industry. So as registrar po ng aming school, majority po, say 85% po ng aming mga estudyante nag-aaral po ng caregiving ay wala pa pong employer, wala pa po silang specific na client or area field na pupuntahan. Parang ang gusto lang po nila ay ma-equip po sila muna bago maghanap ng trabaho. Ngayon, kung ang equipping period po nila ay parang magte-take po ng almost 2 years para makuha po lahat ng skill ng caregiving, mas tataas po yung kanilang training incurrences at hahaba pa po yung time nila bago po sila ma-employ. So dagdag burden po ito sa kanila, at nakikita ko din po na struggle din po as accounting personnel po sa aming school. Nakikita ko din po kung gaano kahirap magbayad yung mga estudyante sa loob ng 6 months program po. Ay paano pa po kung almost 2 years po yung bubunuin nila para makuha po lahat yung lahat ng skill na yun ng caregiving, para ma-equip po sila dun sa lahat ng caregiver skills. So talagang hindi po talaga advantageous pagdating sa mga trainees namin yung old curriculum, kung yun po yung i-implement lamang, at hindi pa po kasama doon yung burden namin as TVI, as training provider, para i-comply po lahat ng requirements doon sa application ng bagong curriculum, like yung space requirement po, materials. Kung gusto po namin i-offer lahat yung curriculum, talagang napakabigat po sa part namin na i-comply po siya lahat. So ibig sabihin, both po sa industry at saka sa training provider, parang problem po yung implementation kung talagang isusupersede na po yung lumang curriculum at papalitan po ng bago. Kaya as for our training center po, we hope that all the CG qualifications po, both the new and the old programs po, be offered po at the same time. Sabay-sabay na lang po sila, and it's the option of the industry po to choose what qualification po they would like to pursue in the future, depende po sa pangangailangan nila. So yun lang po yung aking recommendation and suggestion in behalf of our school po dito sa NCR Asia Pacific po. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ma'am Cyril, for that. Noted po, Ma'am Cyril. So for the Asia Pacific caregivers, correct po, no? You are with the coexistence, so retaining the old curriculum. Okay po? Tama ako, Ma'am Cyril, no? We got your position and your other recommendations. We also coexistence. Opo. Basahin ko lang din po, very short, dito sa ating chat box. May nag-recommend din po from PCST Incorporated. We recommend to integrate the 21st century skills in the old program or enhance the old caregiving program. Noted po, sir. Intensify the training in areas of infection control, basic life support. Requirement po yan sa home care bago ka makapasok. Okay, noted din po. Okay, so let me read po the comment from the DOLE, Bureau of Local Employment, from Ms. Vanch Avinante. Good morning po, ma'am. May we know if curriculum includes awareness of our caregivers on labor laws, may it be foreign caregiver or local caregiver. This is to ensure that caregivers are protected against abuse, harassment, or exploitation. So let's hear from Mr. Edwin Maglalang po from the QSO.
Yes, Ma'am Bunch. Covered po ito dun sa curriculum na kwan. Itinuturo po yung bukod ho dun sa labor laws, may cross-cultural orientation ho na ginagawa yung kwan dun sa country of destination ng ating mga caregivers po. Thank you very much po.
Okay, so dito naman po we receive a comment from Ma'am Irene Lim ayon to also give an airtime for her. What are your recommendations to harmonize? Ayan, base dito sa question po natin, flash on our screen. Enhancement also is her recommendation from Ma'am Irene Lim. Okay, so now we will proceed to our next po for
Yes, ma'am. Pardon to speak.
Okay, may we know po your region and institution that you're affiliated with? Okay, I think it's Ma'am Ganyas Micaela from G10.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes po. Good morning, everyone. So I am from, my name is Celine Ganyas, no, a registered trainer and assessor of caregiving. No, so I am from Philippine College of Technology here in Davao City. So I will just proceed with the number 5 question regarding my recommendations to harmonize the implementation of caregiving and C2 program. So first of all, I am very glad and happy that the TESDA central office called for this meeting because same sentiments with other schools, EBIs, pareho kami ng concern with regards to the caregiving program. So happy ako, sir, sa solution na naibigay ninyo to allow, number 1, that you will allow coexistence of all curriculum until such time that we are ready for migration. Number 2, that you will be releasing a memo. Memo will be issued regarding this coexistence. So ang implementation po ng caregiving and C2 program will only be harmonized pag i-allow po ninyo kaming mag-offer muna ng curriculum, old curriculum ng caregiving. Considering po na marami talagang may gustong, we receive a huge number of students na nag-inquire na mag-enroll sila for the caregiving program, but naka-put on hold nga ngayon yung old curriculum natin. So ang tanong ko lang po, sir, kailan po kami mag-i-implement ng caregiving na old program? Pwede na ba kaming mag-announce or we could accept na ba enrollees after this meeting, or mag-wait pa kami ng memo coming from the central office? Yun lang yung concern ko po, sir.
Thank you po, Ma'am Micaela po. Actually, yung question ni Ma'am Micaela, if kung pwede na nilang implement yung old curriculum ulit, no? Yung old caregiving NC2 natin, parang same, may ganong question din po dito sa chat box. Wait po. Asan nga ba yun? Sabi niya, sa question kanina is, kailangan pa daw namin i-wait ang instructions from certification office bago kami mag-accept ng enrollees for old curriculum. So, we understand po kasi lalo na sa level ng district office tsaka provincial office namin, baka ayaw po nilang, kaya minsan baka nagkakaroon po ng confusion kasi sa mga ganitong forum po, ganito yung nire-release na statements, pero pag lumapit po kayo sa provincial and district office, iba po yung ano nila kasi nag-iintay po sila nung papel ba, kumbaga yung signed na ano na po. So siguro para lang po super sure po tayo, from our certification office ulit, may we hear po ma'am kung yung bang pag-i-implement ng old na caregiving NC2, the registration of it, the renewal ng NC holders, ng NTTC, kailan ba nila pwedeng ma-start yun? Kailangan po ba intayin yung clarificatory guidelines para po may guidance ang PO and ang district offices din po natin? May we hear po from our certification office before we end our public forum po?
Hello, good noon, Ma'am
Yes
Jack.
po, ma'am.
Si Ma'am Jack po ito.
Ma'am Sheila, yes po. Si Barbie po ito.
Ay, Ma'am Barb, sorry. Yes po, we recommend na hintayin po yung clarificatory memo. Kasi dun sa memo, i-clear po namin kung paano. Kasi mahirapan din po yung mga district and provincial offices to respond to the request po ng ating clients, TVIs, at saka yung mga AC kung wala po yung memo. So, kaya we recommend na intayin po muna. Anyway, pwede naman po silang mag-ano muna, anong tawag nun, mag-pool ng enrollees. Pero wala lang po munang commitment kung matutuloy or hindi. Provided ito dun sa mga registered programs na po. Yung may mga registered programs using the old TR ng caregiving. So yun lang po muna. Pero as to kung mag-implement na po tayo or mag-start ng training, mas maganda po intayin yung clarificatory memo. Thank you, Ma'am Barbs.
Ayan, thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Muli, maraming salamat po sa ating certification office for always being there to give guidance for our participants po. Definitely, maraming salamat po. Sure po na maraming na-enlighten po with this forum. Again, we would like to thank the participation of each and everyone. And we apologize po for as to not everyone was given a time po para ma-air po nila yung kanilang opinion and inputs, but perhaps they can still state their inputs and comments po through dito po sa ating meron po tayong Q&A form po rito along with the program evaluation form din po. Ayan, magkasama na po yon yung Q&A natin. Ayan, nandito po sa ating chat box po. We'll open our Google form po the whole day today po para mas marami pa po tayong makuhang mga inputs po mula sa ating mga participants, sa ating mga kasama po na definitely who are also interested with our discussions for this morning. So ayan, also we received chat box din po yan. These are all recorded din po. So we will take note, we will consolidate all of this po. And then ayun, so all right, so now that officially ends our forum. So but before that, we would like to hear first, for the closing remarks, we would like to hear the senior TSD specialist of QSO-CSDD, Mr. Edwin Maglala.
Sabi nga nila, it has to come to an end. Pero hindi naman ho end talaga to kasi may mga inopen ho kaming kan ho doon. para makuha po pa po yung mga hindi nakapag-voice out kanina ng mga suggestions and recommendation. So in behalf po ng aming director, si Director Castillo, we'd like to thank you all sa oras na binigay niyo po sa amin para sa forum na to. Rest assured po, ipoprocess po namin yung mga suggestions and recommendations para maipatupad po ng maayos na implementasyon po na programa po sa ating caregiver na very much in demand po ngayon. Again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat and good afternoon po.
Alright, maraming salamat po Sir Edwin, Ma'am Barbie for being there also to respond as well, no, to the most of their capacity para po masagot po ang mga inquiry and also to consolidate all the information that were gathered today for this forum. Ayan, again, maraming salamat din po sa certification office ang ating mga kasama po rito, headed by Director Patty De La Rama. Of course, we would like to thank po the presence of our board, TESDA board members who are also here po to observe. We would like to thank sila Dr. Vivian. Yes, Dr. Vivian, would you like to say po? Yes po. Would you like to say or share to us? Yes po, anything po?
Good morning, everyone. Rest assured, no, I will make mention to the board your concerns regarding retaining the old NC of caregiver and also improving with the new ones, no? So we are all together. We are all working together towards addressing the concerns of the stakeholders for caregiving, the countries that are hiring us, the hospitals that needs the healthcare workers. So rest assured, I will tell the other board members that you would like to retain the old one, the old curriculum, and also maybe we can offer the new one because it has already been approved by the previous board members. Thank you, ma'am, for inviting us today.
Ayan, thank you very much po, BM. Thank you po for assuring our participants po, no, na definitely there will be ways forward after this forum po. Ayan, as we hear the thoughts of our participants for this caregiving NC2 PRs. Again, ayan, we would like to thank again po ang presence po nila BM Dr. Vivian and also to BM Ramon De Leon. Ayan, he's also here with us po. Ayan, maraming salamat po muli sa pagbibigay ng oras po. We know that you have an immense schedule, pero binigyan nyo pa rin po ng oras. Again, we would like to thank po ang ating mga kasama from Certification Office, headed by Executive Director, Director Patty De La Rama, and also we have here Assistant Executive Director, Director Janet Abasolo, and the rest of the CO staff, sila Ma'am Sheila, sila Ma'am Rachel. Maraming salamat po for giving your time, your insights, your wisdom on this. Maraming salamat. And of course, we would like to thank as well, ang dami-daming meetings din nandito po. Nandito pa rin po siya kasama natin, ang ating Assistant Executive Director ng QSO, si Director Elcid. Ayan, no, daming schedule pero ayan, nandito pa rin siya at nakikinig din po yan sa ating mga participants. Okay, so again, thank you everyone. Please do make sure that you access our Q&A link here also. Ayan. And the short program evaluation as well. Tuloy-tuloy po yun. Okay, so yan. Maraming salamat po. Thank you po. Happy lunch.
Thank you to everyone.